As everyone knows, Gene is a world-renowned supply chain expert and a seasoned industry leader. His experience in the shipping industry spans decades and the entire globe. At the Port of Los Angeles, his business trips will take him on 7 or 8 different cities across multiple continents and time zones, all within a week. He is a machine. He has no internal biological clock. But you can be sure that no matter where or when Gene is, he's got that big old smile on his face and a crisp suit on. Gene is notorious for being in perfect business attire at all times. I'm pretty sure he sleeps in a suit and tie. In fact, one time we were flying to Europe, and he showed up at the airport in a polo shirt and khakis, and I didn't even recognize him when he walked up to me. Gene's also notorious for never wanting to talk about himself, so I'm here to do it for him. We all know his many accolades and achievements. We know about the indelible mark he is imprinting on the maritime industry, which I'm sure you will hear ring clear in his remarks, which are coming up soon. But today, I'm hoping to provide a glimpse of a side that many people in the broader industry do not see. Gene is devoted to his work, we know that, but he is seriously 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not just in his ability to travel constantly, but in the focus and determination he brings to his profession every single day. The word I use to describe Gene all the time is unrelenting. He is unrelenting in his passion for this industry, in his ethics, integrity, and transparency. He is unrelenting in his desire to bolster supply chain resiliency, workforce training, student scholarships, new technology, and cargo throughput. At the beginning of the pandemic, we faced months of plummeting container volumes and uncertainty, then a tsunami of cargo as the volumes came back. And now we stand at the epicenter of a worldwide supply chain reckoning. Through it all, Gene remains focused and diligent all day, every day, with his team, with the highest levels of government at our local, state, and federal levels, and with the public, opening new lines of transparency in ways that the port never had before. These days, you can see him on TV pretty much every single day. He's literally the face of the American supply chain and of the city of Los Angeles as it stands today. And yet, on top of all of that volatility and risk exposure, Gene also stepped up when called on by the mayor of Los Angeles to become the city's first chief logistics officer for a new program called Logistics Victory Los Angeles, or Love LA, which coordinated the supply of PPE, critical equipment, and vaccines throughout the Southern California region on a volunteer basis, with a team of volunteers who stepped up just because Gene asked them to. And despite everything that Gene has on his plate and the weight of the responsibilities that rest on his shoulders, he somehow also remains the most compassionate and devoted human being as well. When the Harbor Department offices were closed and most of the workforce moved to their homes, Gene decided to start putting together weekly videos to keep in contact with the 900 employees under his charge. He wanted to provide them updates and reassurances to his workforce. And one team member told me that he was watching one of Gene's videos one night at home with the volume on. And Gene was speaking about his deep, deep concern for the health and safety and well-being of every person in the Harbor Department. He was hoping they were taking care of themselves while they were out of the offices and offering them resources if they needed it. And this employee's wife was overhearing this video and was slowly inching closer and closer as the video progressed. And at the very end, with tears in her eyes, said, "Wow, I want to work for that guy." Someone else told me that in sum, Gene is the type of person who would not hesitate to give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. It must be part of his Southern sensibilities, maybe it's part of his Catholic upbringing, but Gene has always been a gentleman and a gem, a devoted son, and a very special person. Gene, I know that your parents, God rest their souls in heaven, would be so incredibly proud of all that you have achieved, and especially of the man that you have become. I know that everyone at the Port of Los Angeles is so grateful to work with you. We love you so very much, and we are all part of your family. There are more than 40 people here supporting you today. The global shipping industry is lucky to have you among its most esteemed leaders, And this Connie Award from CII is very just in honoring you today. So congratulations, Jean. Please come forward and accept your award.
Thank you, Jamie, for those kind words, and thank you to the Containerization and Intermodal Institute for this prestigious recognition. What an honor it is to be with you all here today, and to also acknowledge the many others in the city and Port of Los Angeles who deserve to share in this award today. First, our friend, the 42nd mayor of the great city of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, who was instrumental in bringing us together to work at the port. To our Board of Harbor Commissioners, Jamie Lee, our president, and Ed Renwick, our vice president, who is also here with us today. Ed, thank you. And of course, to the 877 women and men at the Los Angeles Harbor Department who work so hard every day. It is on their behalf that I humbly accept this award today. And to all the personal friends and colleagues who are here today, this is yours too. For this moment, this honor is a tribute to your leadership, your career advice, your compassion over these 33 years that I've been in this industry. To fly in from Hamburg, Germany, to fly in from Dubai is just so heartwarming. I thank you all. And it's thrilling to be here because today is more than just about one individual. Today is how our industry supports the United States of America and beyond. Our role in how we serve this country has never been more apparent in this consequential moment of time that we live. And to say that our industry has faced unprecedented obstacles over these past 20 months would be a huge understatement. But it was during this time, when no one had all the answers, that genuine leadership rose up to meet the challenges before us. And that's because a genuine leader values people first and foremost. In our case, it's the people that ship and receive the goods. It's the labor moving those shipments in and out of the port. And today with us, I am so honored that the 3 local presidents from the International Longshore and Warehouse Union traveled with us from Los Angeles to be here today. Gentlemen, we thank you. And it's also those people that live and work in our port community, the dry cleaners, the restaurants, the pizza shops. They all count on us every single day. The supply chain that runs through our gateway supports more than 3 million jobs nationwide, contributing to payrolls in all 435 United States congressional districts. Countless American families rely on the global trade that we facilitate. And due to our prominence in the industry, we're in a position to advocate for better trade policy that supports those American jobs. And those American jobs are everywhere, from the factories to the farmlands and everywhere in between. We don't do this to serve our financial interests. We do this to support the millions of people who count on us every day. The business of the Port of Los Angeles is to provide the most efficient and effective trade gateway to move cargo in and out of the United States. But the purpose of the port is to support the lives and livelihoods of the people who depend on the movement of these goods. The Containerization and Intermodal Institute also has a purpose, and that's to prepare the young people as professionals to take over jobs that some of us are leading today. How can we best do that? And what is our legacy to all of them right here in this room? It starts with 3 leadership traits, ladies and gentlemen: visibility, mobility, and durability. Start with visibility. In today's world, it's really easy to text and use devices to communicate with our friends and colleagues, email, but there's no replacement by being physically seen by your supervisors, your peers, your colleagues, even your customers, whoever they may be. And as your career progresses, you need to be visible to all the stakeholders that you serve. Now, of course, digital communication has been powerful and transformational for all of us, but it's no replacement for showing up as often as you can and being hands-on when you're making things happen at work. The second leadership trait is mobility, and this one's pretty simple. Let this great industry take you around the world. Seek out travel opportunities, spend time, live in other countries. Experience their cultures, customs, and languages. Build trust with your customers and their communities as you develop lifelong business relationships. And the third leadership trait is durability. This is a tough business, and you gotta have thick skin, believe it. And you gotta roll with the punches. The more you're out there, visible in the marketplace, traveling around the world, leading important conversations, the more jabs you're going to take from your competitors, keyboard heroes, and commentators. But you got to stay with your program. You got to continue to follow with that eye on the prize. And you got to do specifically as your mission calls you and your purpose for our industry. Now more than ever, we need to develop future-ready leaders. Women and men who are resilient, mobile, and visible, because this is how our industry is going to manage the complexities and mitigate the uncertainty in the future. Looking ahead, the only thing we know for sure as the uncertainty of 2021 winds down is that 2022 promises more. The forecast can be discouraging, if not overwhelming, given what we've all been through over the last 20 months back to March of 2020, when COVID-19 first hit our shores. Our world went into lockdown and our business, our industry, had to turn on a dime. But let's just take a moment here to celebrate. Yes, celebrate what we've achieved over the last year and a half. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we delivered. We found a way once again to feed, clothe, and house the American people. Because we move everything. We moved the lumber, the garments, the food, the parts for our factories, and we got it to market. We saw and experienced the pain points in real time, every time, as we saw canceled sailings and lockdowns and economic turmoil. And then slowly we started to see ships come back into the industry, started to see what happens. And then the sheer power of the American consumer took off. And we began delivering so many more goods. Even with the recent barrage of media attention and news helicopters capturing the backups at our major ports and cargo centers, we stayed focused on service to each other and to the American people. That's leadership. And now look at us today. The U.S. economy is growing at a pace not seen in decades. Experts are forecasting that national GDP will be over 5% this year and 4% next year. There's record low unemployment, recently the lowest number of claims since 1969, and record high consumer spending. The National Retail Federation predicts that this holiday shopping season will be our best ever, as will retail sales for the full year. And our industry is helping to drive the U.S. economy as it has since the start of the pandemic. And despite the flood of imports that are overwhelming parts of the global supply chain and spotlighting weaknesses, we're moving more cargo into the American marketplace than ever before. While there's much more work to do, no one's claiming victories. Every one of us should be extremely proud of what our industry has accomplished during this extraordinary period in our history. Our collective success illustrates that leaders aren't born, leaders are made. And the leaders in this room are all made for this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a privilege to work with you. Thank you for this honor today.